I was asked to show how to open an oyster. I always start, I put gloves on. There's preservative liquid inside of the packages. I'm not really quite sure what's in them. They say it's safe, but I would rather not take a chance, so I put gloves on. I like to use scissors. I cut around the edge. Try to not cut your finger off as you do it. It's not that hard. I like to cut around like that. And then it leaves a little edge that you can put. I use a butter knife. I take a butter knife, I kind of insert it in there. You don't want to put it too far because you're going to damage the pearl. So you just pry it, slightly pry it all the way around the oyster. Just kind of, you're really not going to hurt it. So you just basically turn it, keep turning it, turn it around, keep turning. You just don't want to put it in too far because you will damage the exterior of the pearl if you go too far. Once you go around that edge, just open it up. There is a pearl inside of this, and you feel around, and there is the pearl.
That purple?
That is a purple, sort of a purple. It's got an orient to it, which means it's got sort of a mirror glow to it. So it's very pretty. I'll do another one. Again, cut around the edge without cutting your finger off. I think that's kind of important. And then you can see I cut it pretty well. So you just pry it open. That's pretty much all you do. You put a lot of effort into it without ruining that pearl inside. It's better to just break off little pieces as opposed to putting the knife all the way inside and damaging that pearl, because that's kind of the whole point of this, is to have a nice pearl. And you can see that pearl is right here, as I didn't open the oyster completely. But here's another one. Clean him off a little bit.
I want you to open a couple more. I'm going to ask you some questions. I see that you're just dipping it in water. Last time we did an oyster, the lady cleaned it in salt. That's bad, right?
You can clean it in salt. You can clean it in salt, but salt is a crystal, and those crystals probably won't damage the exterior of the pearl, but they may. So if you're gonna do anything with salt, I would suggest you dilute that salt with some water, and it's good to wash the stuff off the outside, but those crystals very well could damage that exterior of the pearl. I wouldn't suggest doing it. I don't know why people do it. It's up to them, but knowing what I know about pearls, I would suggest you don't use regular table salt unless you dilute it. And here we open another one.
So just rinsing them off in water is fine?
That's what I would do.
Is that how you would clean a pearl?
Yes, definitely. I wouldn't do anything outside of that. If you put any chemical on pearl, or you do anything, use any chemical of any sort, you're going to end up damaging that exterior surface that oyster created, and you don't want to do that.
Would you throw the trash in the box so it looks...
Oh.
So you can open it.
Trash.
Thank you, honey.
Okay, so I'm going to open another one.
Yeah, just keep opening them.
You just want to...
So these are just kitchen scissors.
Yep, just regular kitchen scissors. I think you just have to cut these things open. Their shell's hard. The oyster makes a very hard shell, so he doesn't get eaten out in the wild. So there's a whole reason that shell is very hard. It's his home, and he's going to protect it, and this is the way he protects it. So you just pry that thing open. The shell's pretty much worthless, so who really cares what happens to it? Although there are some really pretty shells out there, but they're not made by this type of oyster. And here's another one.
That's very pretty.
This is an odd looking one. But again, just cut it. Don't cut too far in though, because you cut too far in, there shouldn't be a pearl there, but it's possible the pearl is on the outside edge. And once you've cut it and damaged it, the pearl is ruined. So you just pry them open. That's the whole thing. Or her, or whatever. I'm not absolutely sure. He, she, it. something like that. I have no idea. There's oysters in my world, so I really don't care one way or another. They have very nice pearls. That's all that matters. So we just kind of force them open, and that's kind of a pinkish red. Actually, in the trade, something that looks like this is referred to as a red, even though it's not red. But that's the trade term for it. Even though the general public doesn't know what red is. But industry professionals like to use their special terms, even if nobody else understands what they are.
Yeah, because I would have called that pink.
Yep. And that's kind of how, I don't know, I would rather use terminology that people understand as opposed to special terms that only industry people understand. Not that I have anything against industry people, but they tend to speak in different language than what we speak in. And then we just kind of press around. There is actually an area inside the oyster that holds the pearl, but in these oysters, it will move around a little bit, and it won't always be in the same place. There's another one.
Is that white?
That's an off-white. That's actually I would say it is a cream color. It's hard to actually tell when they're wet if you can kind of tell the color, but you can't see what the overtone is, and you can't tell if it has orient or not. And orient is very, very important on a pearl. It gives it more value. So the orient basically makes it look very, very shiny. It's different than the luster, but I will go into that at another time. This is just about opening oysters. This one's more of a white.
You're making it look a lot easier than I did.
And we'll cut another one open without wrecking the house. Just cut these things open. That's all you gotta do. Really not that difficult. I think some people make it look a little harder because they have long fingernails that they spend lots of money on each month to have look beautiful.
Is that my problem?
I think, I'm not blaming you, but I'm just telling you, people do it, and I'm merely here to point out the error of their ways. So.
Thank you, honey.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm here for. Very supportive person, I know. That one, I can't tell you what it is. I don't know. The lighting in here is really not all that great at the moment. So.
It looks like a cream one.
Yeah, it's probably cream. I will open one more and then I'm done.
All right, thank you.
These actually, these are really not that bad. I would actually suggest that you soak it, if you can soak it in water a little bit before you open it. It tends to allow the oyster to expand a little bit and makes the opening process a lot easier. But you're not here to preserve the shell. You're here to open it and get that oyster pulled apart and get the beautiful pearl. And there are so many different colors of pearls, and these seem to have some beautiful colors. With these, you're not going to have anything really dark though, because the dark colors typically come in the huge oysters. But that's another
nice
pretty
white.
one. That's
Yeah.
a white, and it's round. This is really round. Most of them are going to be off round to round, which is the higher quality.
Would you do one more for me?
Yes, I will do one more. Begrudgingly, but I will do it.
Thank you.
So far, I haven't cut my finger off yet, which that was my main concern. But I haven't done it yet, so we're doing pretty good. I will do something, I'm sure, that hurts myself, because that's usually how things work. See, look at that. That's open already.
Yeah.
He's pretty much open already, so we're just going to make it even easier. Maybe he wasn't so open. He's a tough guy. Definitely a tough oyster. I guess he's not so tough anymore, but whatever. Here we go. And there's the last one. That one's a pink.
Oh,
This one's actually off round.
that's pretty.
But it's a very nice one. It's more of a pink. Again, it almost qualifies as a red, even though it's not red. But I think that pretty much wraps it up.
All right, thank you, honey.
Yep.